Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're wrestling with one of those huge lifestyle and investment choices. Deciding between two places that are just fundamentally different. We're putting Phuket head to head with Dubai, kind of like tropical chill versus urban thrill.
Yeah, exactly. And this isn't just a casual chat about holidays. We're basing this deep dive on some serious analysis from Ocean Worldwide. They're a luxury residential real estate agency.
Okay, Ocean Worldwide. And they specialize in.
They focus specifically on luxury properties in places like Koh Samui and, importantly, Phuket.
Ah, good. You said it like that. Let's pause there for a second. Because pronunciation matters here, right? It's Phuket.
Correct. Pronounced Phuket. Definitely not Phuket. It's crucial to get that right.
Phuket. Got it. And Ocean Worldwide, they're actually based in Phuket.
They are. They've been right there since 2004. Their director, Sandra O'Neill, she's personally helped thousands of families and investors over nearly 2 decades.
Wow. Okay. So they have some serious on-the-ground expertise, especially in that luxury market.
Absolutely. They really understand that side of things, the tropical luxury property market.
So our mission today, then, is to unpack what they found. We need to get past the glossy brochures and figure out which of these spots, Phuket or Dubai, might actually align better with your goals, whether that's lifestyle, investment, or, both.
Precisely. Which path fits your strategy?
Okay, let's start with the feel of the place, the atmosphere. Because honestly, the difference here is it's huge. It often makes the decision before you even look at numbers. So what's the core appeal of Phuket, that tropical island lifestyle?
Well, the source calls it tropical island charm. And it really is about soaking in the natural environment. Think soft, sandy beaches, obviously clear blue water, but also lots of green, lush national parks, hidden waterfalls you can actually find.
Right, accessible nature, not just distant scenery.
Exactly. And authentic local stuff like the markets with real Thai street food. The whole pace is just slower, more relaxed.
Yeah.
It's about the experience, not rushing.
Okay, so if that's the relaxed, natural vibe, Dubai is pretty much the opposite, right? Engineered, futuristic, ambitious.
Absolutely. Urban sophistication is the term used.
Right.
But yeah, taken to an extreme, it's a showcase of modern engineering. The skyline itself, with giants like the Burj Khalifa, it's designed to impress.
High octane is a good word for it.
It is. It's fast-paced, dynamic, built around global business, luxury shopping, fine dining, density. It basically trades that natural beauty for hypermodern convenience and incredible infrastructure.
Yeah.
So the question is, what do you value more, nature or engineered perfection?
That sets the stage perfectly. Okay, let's shift gears. Property. For anyone thinking investment, this is where it gets really critical because the real estate markets aren't just different visually. They're different in terms of what you're actually buying and the risks involved.
Yeah, and it's fascinating how the markets really mirror the places themselves. In Phuket, the market is driven mostly by lifestyle choices and, of course, tourism. So the focus is usually coastal property. Villas, often with those amazing sea views.
Like that clifftop residence mentioned. Ultra-modern place.
Exactly like that, or apartments near the beach. But the key thing compared to Dubai, it tends to be more affordable to get in.
More affordable. Okay, how much more? They give that example, right? The 5-bed villa in Chomteo.
They do. Priced at 22,900,000 Thai baht.
Which is roughly, what? That's 625,000 US dollars, something like that. That sounds amazing for a big luxury villa.
Yeah.
But what's the catch? What does the source say about risks with that lower price?
That's a really important point. Because while that price looks attractive, and they even note it's a reduction, suggesting maybe a buyer's market, the ownership side in Thailand is, it's complicated for foreigners.
Ah, the land ownership rules.
Precisely. Generally, foreigners can't own land freehold outright.
Huh.
So you typically use long-term leasehold agreements, which are renewable, or you might structure ownership through a Thai company.
Okay.
So you're buying into the lifestyle, the potential rental income.
Yeah.
But there are structural limits on actual land ownership that you absolutely have to understand as an investor.
Right. So the affordability comes bundled with, let's call it title complexity. If you're buying mainly for capital preservation, that could be a big hurdle. How does Dubai compare on that front? How do they handle ownership for foreigners?
Dubai's playing a totally different game there. They've actively encouraged foreign investment. They offer full freehold ownership in many designated areas, these big master planned communities.
So that just cuts through the complexity.
It does. It removes that whole layer of land title issues. Now, the properties themselves reflect this luxury, high-rises, sleek apartments, big villas with top-tier amenities. But the price point is significantly higher.
Right. You're paying a premium for that simplicity and, I guess, the global city status.
Exactly. The market attracts global wealth looking for stability, modern living standards, and yes, the potential for capital appreciation.
Okay. And you mentioned something earlier, a big driver of that appreciation in Dubai. Off-plan properties. Can you just quickly break that down for listeners? What does off-plan mean, and why is it such a big deal in Dubai's market?
Sure. Off-plan just means you're buying a property before it's actually built,
Right.
sometimes just based on the plans, the architectural drawings, or maybe a show home.
Okay.
In Dubai, it's a really common mechanism. It lets investors get in, potentially at a lower price point than the finished product. You usually pay in installments as the construction progresses.
Ah, staged payments.
Right. And the hope, or the expectation, is that by the time the property is finished and handed over, its value will have increased significantly. It helps developers finance the projects, and it gives investors a way to potentially lock in gains tied to Dubai's growth and reputation.
Okay, so let's try and synthesize that investment picture. Phuket. Lower entry cost, potentially good rental yields from tourism, but you've got those ownership complexities, the leasehold structure usually Dubai. Full freehold ownership, strong potential for capital growth backed by its global status and regulations. But you're paying a much higher price for that security and prestige.
That sums it up perfectly. It really is a trade-off. Are you prioritizing the potential cash flow from, say, a holiday rental in the tropics? Or are you prioritizing the long-term, structurally simpler appreciation of an asset in a major global hub?
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch it up again. Adventure and entertainment.
Hmm.
Because how you or your potential renters spend your downtime says a lot. How do these places offer thrills? It seems like natural versus manufactured excitement again.
Very much so. Phuket is all about leveraging its natural environment. The adventures are organic, often water-based. The source talks about world-class snorkeling and diving, Simoleon Islands, Phi
Yeah,
Islands,
classic spots.
and kayaking through Fanga Bay with those dramatic limestone karsts, including the famous James Bond Island, of course. Plus, you've got jungle trekking, exploring places like the Khao Wildlife Sanctuary. It's all about getting into the landscape.
And Dubai. Well, it doesn't have tropical islands or dense jungles nearby. It has the desert.
It does. And it leverages that expertly. Dubai's thrills are often desert-focused, but they're highly organized, high-energy experiences. Think dune bashing and powerful 4x4s, sandboarding down steep dunes, elaborate desert safaris, often ending at these quite luxurious Bedouin-style camps for dinner and entertainment.
Right, curated adventure.
Very curated.
Yeah.
And then back in the city itself, you have these enormous purpose-built attractions. Huge theme parks like IMG Worlds of Adventure or Dubai Parks and Resorts. Massive water parks like Aquaventure. It's entertainment designed for maximum impact, maximum convenience.
And this difference carries right over into the nightlife too, doesn't it? Which
Yeah.
is key for lifestyle appeal. The source draws a sharp contrast here.
Oh, absolutely. Polar opposites again. Phuket's nightlife, especially if you think about somewhere like Bangla Road and Patong. It's
Yeah.
energetic, very casual, can be a bit chaotic.
Definitely chaotic sometimes.
But it's accessible, generally much more affordable, spontaneous, beach clubs, simple street bars, live music sort of spilling out everywhere. It feels very raw, very local, very vibrant.
And Dubai. Polished, I imagine.
Polished is a good word. Sophisticated, glamorous, and regulated. You're generally talking about chic rooftop bars perched way up on skyscrapers, exclusive lounges, high-end nightclubs.
Dress codes probably required.
Often, yes. Smart casual or even formal wear isn't unusual. And the price point reflects that exclusivity. It operates at a definite premium. So again, it's that curated luxury versus the more spontaneous, maybe slightly grittier, street-level party vibe. It really reflects the core difference between the two places.
That nightlife contrast alone, affordable spontaneity versus high-cost curation, that has to be a major deciding factor if you plan to actually live there for extended periods or attract tenants who do. Okay, let's move into our final section, which feels like it needs the most careful thought, the cultural side, and the practical logistics.
Yeah, this is crucial for long-term success, whether you're living there or just investing. The cultural context really shapes everything. Phuket naturally is deeply Thai. That means it's rooted in Buddhist traditions. There's a strong emphasis on respect, harmony, that gentle way greeting. It's very welcoming to foreigners, of course, tourism is huge, but you need to be mindful of local customs. Modesty when visiting temples like Wat Chalong is essential. And there's history there too. Phuket has this fascinating mix of Chinese and Portuguese architectural influences from its trading past.
Right. And Dubai, it's famously international, a huge melting pot, but it's still anchored in Islamic traditions, right? How does that play out for foreigners?
It creates a really unique dynamic. Yes, it's incredibly diverse. Millions of expats live there,
Okay.
but respect for local customs, which are based on Islamic tradition, is really important, especially regarding public behavior.
Like public displays of affection.
Generally frowned upon, yes. And there are specific rules around alcohol consumption, usually restricted to licensed venues. Dress codes can be more conservative outside of the main tourist zones or private resorts. For property owners, understanding the legal framework, which has Islamic law influences, is key too. Things like inheritance or how disputes are resolved.
That brings up a point about governance and stability. Comparing Thailand, which has had its political shifts, and Phuket relying heavily on tourism, isn't Dubai, with its very tightly managed, business-focused environment, inherently less risky in terms of regulatory changes or infrastructure commitment?
That's arguably part of what you're paying that premium for in Dubai. The analysis suggests Dubai's infrastructure and regulatory environment are seen as extremely stable and very focused on the long term. Why? Because the entire city's model is built on attracting global business and foreign capital.
Right, predictability is key.
Exactly. In Thailand, while the government is generally stable and pro-tourism, property regulations have sometimes evolved. Maybe infrastructure development outside the absolute core tourist areas could be slower.
Yeah.
Dubai offers that predictable, high standard of service, often linked to things like golden visa programs that smooth the path for long-term residency. It's part of the package.
Okay, let's talk brass tacks. Cost of living. This hits your ROI hard if you live there, or affects who your tenant pool is. We know property entry costs differ, but daily life.
Phuket comes out way ahead on budget friendliness for day-to-day living. The source really highlights this. You can get amazing street food meals for just a couple of pounds or a few dollars.
Mm.
Utilities, local transport, general services, they're all significantly cheaper.
Making it attractive for retirees or long-term stayers on a budget.
Definitely. It allows for a comfortable lifestyle without necessarily needing a huge income stream.
And Dubai, I'm guessing, is the polar opposite on daily costs?
Pretty much, yes.
Mhm.
Dubai operates at a premium level across the board. While there are tax advantages, the actual cost of living is high. Eating out, groceries in some cases, international school fees, a huge factor for families, hotels, attractions. It all costs substantially more.
You're paying for that global city standard.
You are. You're paying for the infrastructure, the service levels, the international environment, not just the sunshine.
Okay, one last practical point. Travel seasons. This directly impacts rental yields, especially for Phuket. When's the best time to visit each?
Phuket's high season, the ideal weather, is generally November through February. That's the dry season, comfortable temperatures. Dubai's peak season is a bit longer, usually October through April. That's when the intense summer heat subsides, and it's pleasant outdoors.
And outside those windows.
You hit the extremes.
Hmm.
Phuket has its rainy season, which can be quite intense. Dubai faces extreme heat in the summer months, making outdoor activity difficult. And that seasonality directly impacts tourist numbers, hotel occupancy, and therefore your potential rental income. It's a critical factor in forecasting returns.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here, gone way beyond just beaches versus skyscrapers. We've looked at the lifestyle, the property nuts and bolts, the adventures, the culture, the costs. The choice really boils down to, are you looking for the culturally rich, more affordable, naturally beautiful lifestyle investment of Phuket? Or are you aiming for the high-stakes, structurally simpler, super modern, high-energy, global hub investment potential of Dubai?
That really is the fundamental decision. Your personal priorities regarding risk, regulation, lifestyle, and budget have to guide you. There's no single right answer, just the right answer for you.
Right, and building on that, here's a final thought for you to mull over, connecting those investment profiles and travel seasons we just discussed. If your main goal is achieving the most stable year-round rental income, which destination is better set up to deliver that? Is it the one, like Phuket, that relies heavily on seasonal, often spontaneous leisure tourism? Or is it the one, like Dubai, which has that strong undercurrent of year-round business travel, major global conferences, huge sporting and cultural events filling hotels even in the off-season? How does that mix of visitors affect the stability of your rental income across the full 12 months? Something to think about. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.